Day one of the Sydney Test match, and boy, do I have a lot of thoughts. Overall, woof, what a test match. What a start to a test match. India close to about 190, 185 all out. And the batting has been so confusing as to why the batters are batting this certain way. I can understand the dismissals of a certain batters, but some of the batters I don't understand. Although Yashasvi has been in some fantastic form, I do not understand his approach to batting. On a wicket that is seaming so much and there's got so much of bounce, he uses the same approach he used in Melbourne, where he walks like he shuffles ahead instead of shuffling within the crease. And he's walking out of the crease to negotiate the pace and the bounce and the seam. On a wicket that is seaming so much and a wicket that is doing so much and there's so much awkward bounce, there's no consistency of bounce. On a wicket like that, to move so much ahead towards the bowler, one is you're shortening the amount of pitch space you have between the bowler and you. Two is you're shortening the amount of time you have against to play the ball that is already doing so much. There's so much of bounce, there's so much of seam movement, there's so much of spice on the wicket, and yet you're shortening the amount of reaction time that you're playing against a bowler. I just do not understand this. As a batter in a test match where the ball's doing so much, yes, you can be brave enough to catch blows if you want, and that is the way you want to do it. But do it from within the crease, because there is there's so much happening. You want to give yourself enough time to be able to negotiate the eccentricities of each ball that is being bowled to you. When the ball is misbehaving so much, is being abnormal and not normal on a wicket that is excellent conditions to bowl first on. I in fact think was a great decision to bat first, by the way, because I have my reasonings for it. I'll come to that. But Nitish Reddy's dismissal and Yashasvi Jaiswal's dismissal, for me, I did not understand it. I did not understand why they were moving ahead. At a time when you need so much more space and time to play each delivery, and you want to create as much time as possible as a batter, they weren't doing that. On a wicket that had so much bounce, so there was no need, there was no fear of LBW there, because there's so much bounce off that wicket that you just had to come inside the line and play, but yet they were shuffling ahead and creating lesser time for them to play each delivery. Virat Kohli, for that matter, even I think just his setup has changed so much. Before, his bat used to come from second slip, which I thought was ideal for a bottom-handed player, because when you're holding the bat with the bottom hand, you're going to go around the ball a little bit. But now his bat comes literally from the keeper. When it's coming from the keeper, what is happening is when he's coming down on the ball, even outside the off stump, although he's looking to play straight, the angle of the ball will make him play. Because he's a bottom-handed player, he'll come across the ball a little bit. And what he's doing, even when he's trying to maintain that position as much as possible, because he's a bottom-handed player, he will come across the ball a little bit, which will more often than not, especially on the back foot, take the outside edge. But before, what he was doing, because his bat was coming from second slip, the bat would come around and adjust for the fact that the ball's coming from a certain angle, and he would cover the line. Because of where his backlift is at this point in time, he is not able to do that because of the fact that he's a bottom-handed player. I don't think he should change the fact that he's a bottom-handed player, but I think he should go back to bringing his bat from second slip and coming around the ball a little bit, in the sense that getting that loop in his batting. Because if he brings that back, he'll have a lot more impact. If you can see today in his batting, even the balls he was hitting down the ground with the full face of his bat was not going to the boundaries. Why wasn't it going to the boundaries? Because there is no pace created in his pushback. I think cricketers will understand this. Every batter has a certain pushback. And today there's no pace created or space created in that pushback for him to generate power into the ball, even if he's playing with the full face of the bat. And I think that's one of the reasons we're seeing him edge the ball so much, which has been so unnatural for us to witness as a supporter of Virat Kohli or a fan of Virat Kohli's batting. KL Rahul's dismissal played slightly earlier than normal. If he had allowed the ball to come a little bit more, maybe the ball held up in the pitch a little bit because of the awkwardness of the bounce that was there and the freshness of the wicket. So he played slightly ahead. Maybe he anticipated the ball to come a little bit quicker and a little bit lower trajectory, but didn't happen, got caught. Rishabh Pant, I thought, fought really well. Washington Sundar, my God, I tweeted about it. I think was an absolute crap decision. There is no consistency in this whole DRS system, and for some reason this happens in Australia pretty often. I don't know why this happens in Australia, but it just happens in Australia. Every time we go to Australia, something or the other happens in the DRS system, where it just Something or the other is not working well. Either it's the angle, either it's the sound or the deviation. There was no deviation today. There was clear space between the ball and the glove, and there was patchy spikes on the stump mic or the ultra edge throughout the course of that the whole delivery. So how the umpire reached a conclusive decision that hit the glove and there was a spike. There was this clear distance between the ball and the glove. Washington Sundar's dismissal. Atrocious decision in my opinion. Atrocious. There's no consistency whatsoever. And for me, that is unacceptable. The same thing happened with Yashasvi. There's no consistency again. There they went by not the spike, the deviation of the ball. Here there was no deviation of the ball. Clear gap between the ball and the glove, but there was a spike and they made a decision. There's so much ambiguity here. What is the rule by which you're going to make these decisions? There has to be clarity. As in, if there are 3 parameters set, to make a conclusive decision, at least 2 out of those 3 must be ticked. And only one, there was nothing ticked. There was a spike, but the ball was so far away from the glove. So how are you making that decision? It does not make sense. No hot spot either. It's absurd for me. And to top it all, at the end of the day, the whole Constas, I don't even know what to call it. It just seems like a tantrum, to be honest. It seemed like a tantrum. When a fast bowler bowls, when the fast bowler is at the top of the mark, this is the rule. When the fast bowler is at the top of the mark, the batter should be ready to face the ball. The pace is dictated by the fast bowler's run-up and the fast bowler being on top of the mark. That is the rule. It is not, for a spinner, you can take up to 30 seconds or 25 seconds to get ready to play a ball. You can play at your pace. The batter dictates the pace of the over. But when a fast bowler is bowling, the fast bowler dictates the pace of the over, not the batter. So the batter needs to be ready. So Constas throwing that tantrum, you cannot muck around with mother cricket. I want to use other choice words I have in my head right now, but you cannot muck around with mother cricket. It will come and bite you in your backside, and that is exactly what happened to Usman Khwaja. I think it's going to be a super interesting test match. And with Bumrah as captain, I think he's going to have his tail up, and so will the rest of the bowlers. And thanks to Constas, India will come out roaring tomorrow morning. Mark my words. I think it's going to be a gun test match, guys. We level this series, it'll be as good as us winning this series. That's all in this episode. I'll see you all on the next one.